Hey y'all, welcome back to A Dash of Gratitude. Today I'm going to be working a little bit outside in my garden. I have a container garden and I'm going to get it started. I've got to clean up the beds, prepare the soil, and if I have time, I might go ahead and do some planting. Also, I just want to let you know I do live close to an interstate and it's a little bit loud outside, especially the side where my garden is closest to the exposure to the interstate noise. If it's too loud out there, I might have to do a voiceover. I'm not really sure how this is going to come out, but we're going to give it a go. So let's get to it. Here is an overview of what I'm working with this year. I garden in containers because while we do have an absolutely beautiful yard, it is very shady and there's really not a spot to plant a garden in the ground. So last year I bought these two rectangular containers. They came from Lowe's, and the little tube in the back, you can pour water down there and it keeps water in a reservoir, so it kind of helps keep the soil moist. And the buckets I got, let's see, as you can see, I got some from Jersey Mike's. I know I got a few from Firehouse Subs, and I got a few from Chick-fil-A. And if you're looking for containers like this, it's a 5-gallon bucket. They're food grade material. All I did was when I went through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A a couple of times, I asked if they had an empty pickle bucket. That's what this green one is. It's from them, pickle bucket. And a couple of times they did, and they just gave them to me for free. Now, Firehouse Subs, they charged me, I think, $2 or $3 per bucket. Not a big deal. And then the ones from Jersey Mike's, I don't remember. I think they gave them for free as well, but I don't quite remember about that. Anyway, and what I did, you can't really see. This one's not empty. It's almost empty, but I put a little brick piece in the bottom of each bucket for weight. And we also drilled holes in the bottom. Let's see if I can. We drilled holes in the bottom for drainage. And then what I did was I used these bricks over here to lift the buckets up so they would drain even better. And I just had the buckets up on the bricks and the plants in the buckets, and it worked pretty well. So that's my plan for this year as well. And in this bed here, I need to clean it up a little bit, but it does have strawberries that came back from last year. And this one needs just to be completely cleaned out. One blueberry pot here. I've already started, I added some rabbit poop into the soil. And this one here is starting to bud out. You see the little green on the end of that stem. It's got a few of those around. I don't remember which variety of a blueberry this is, and the label doesn't say. It just says assorted blueberry, so I'm not sure about that. This blueberry plant right here it always blooms first. It has nice leaves on it. It already has some berries, so it's doing really well. But this one always starts getting green before the other one. And this one is the rabbit eye blueberry variety, and I've already added some rabbit poop into this one as well. I'm also going to add some fresh compost soil, and hopefully that'll ready it for the season. By no means am I an expert on gardening. I do enjoy growing things, and most of my adult life I have had some type of a garden growing. When we moved into this house, the previous owners had a garden space blocked off, like fenced off on the side yard over here. When we moved in, I'm not sure how successful the garden was for them, because when we moved in, the trees just really gave it too much shade, and we didn't have very much luck at all with what we planted over there. So the next year which was last year, we attempted these containers, and I am hopeful that they can be successful. So that's why we're going to go for this again this year, until I'm able to get some nice raised beds and have a few trees taken down. We don't want to take a lot of trees down, but just a few to let more sun in. And of course we'll plant more trees as well in other areas, especially some fruit bearing trees and maybe some ornamentals. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. One day at a time, right? So my plan for today is, if you didn't know, rabbit poop makes a really good fertilizer. So if you know anybody with rabbits, or if you have rabbits yourself, if you just kind of add some of their poop to your soil, it really is a good fertilizer. And so I'm going to add rabbit poop to the containers that I'll be planting in, and then I'm going to add some fresh soil. I'm going to water it all in really nicely, and then we're going to go from there. It's going to depend on how much light I have left, how much the kids will require of me. I mean, it is kind of close to dinner time, so we'll see how much I'm actually able to get done. And anyway, enough talking. Let's get to it. Alrighty then. Hopefully this works, YouTube. Alright, so I've got on my trusty dusty, kind of crusty garden gloves. I put them to work. I always wear gloves. Well, I'll say most of the time, whenever I can, I wear gloves in the garden. Okay, so I'm going to start by just kind of cleaning out these beds a little bit. I've just got some weeds going on here. I'm pulling out all the things that I know are weeds. I'm pulling out anything that's brown, like the brown leaves that are just dead. Just cleaning up the bed. Well, here's the one little berry just hanging off the side. I don't know. You probably cannot see that. Maybe I might have to zoom in a little bit when I edit, but there's a little strawberry looking so lovely. I know I had a really nice, bright, and juicy one a couple days ago, and I think an insect must have gotten to it, or maybe a bird, I don't know. But it grew with zero effort from me. I have not, like I said, I have not touched these beds yet this year. We've been so busy, But I'm ready for it. I'm ready to just get on into gardening season. It is such a good season. Such a fun season of the year. All right, next we're going to be working in this bed. I'm going to get it nice and cleaned out. Sorry about the lighting. I mean, I can't help. I can't help it that the sun's going down. This was just the first time today I could really get out here in a good way. These are 2 little tomato plants. Okay, that one looks pretty good. All right, next let's work on these buckets. And they have some soil in them. This one definitely needs to be replaced. I used some of that soil to fill up another pot that I was planting. And those pots over there are some mums, and I just leave them there. They come back every year. They're pretty, add a little pop of color, which I love in the garden. So anyway, I know you can't really see much in here, but I'm gonna do this next. So I'll probably edit a lot of this out, and I'll just see you when I get done with these pots. Oh my gosh, oh, you can't see. Maybe you can see right here, there is an earthworm. I put worms in each of these buckets last year, and I wasn't sure if they would survive the winter, but I have seen a few. I'm so pleased they're still in there. Just helping that soil be awesome. Hi, little worm. We love our worms, and we have so many on our property here. Pretty much everywhere we dig, there's worms, which is so nice. It means we've got pretty good soil. So that's good. All right, so what I think I'm gonna do, this. Well, let me finish this first. Don't get distracted, Beth. Ew. Ew, there's a giant beetle. Whoa. I don't know about this guy. This is why I always wear gloves in the garden. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. If I would have touched that, I probably would have had a heart attack. Put him over there. Okay, using the shovel. All right, so I've got I've got these 4 buckets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've got them weeded pretty well. So what I'm going to do, since this one's mostly empty, this one's mostly full, I'm going to kind of transfer some of this soil over here. Then I'll add the rabbit poop, mix it in with the fresh soil on top. That's my plan for this year. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and get started. By taking some of this dirt out, I'll be able to mix more easily in this bucket as well. Because right now it's too full, I couldn't really mix anything into it in a good way. Okay. Oh, there's another worm. Hi, worms. I see 2 worms in this bucket right here. I love them. If I find another one, I'm going to move it to this other bucket. I love them. Worms are so good for the garden. I'm so happy they're hanging out in these buckets. I mean, maybe they don't have a choice, but I hope they're happy in there. Okay. Thinking about just leaving them on the ground because I think the drainage will probably be okay. I don't know. I might have to test that out and see. I'm just going to do the same back here. Just get the weeds out. Not too many back here. Alright, so I have the weeds pulled. I'm just going to open up this. It's an organic choice. It is from Miracle Grow. We picked it up at Costco. And we're going to use this to kind of fill in the gaps. I've got a very good friend who has a farm at her house. And I bought these plants from her, the tomatoes and peppers. And I said, if you have any rabbit poop, I'll take some. And so I got some rabbit poop from her too. And I'm just going to add some to each container. And it can just go right into the containers. Is this glamorous? No. Will it produce a healthy garden? I sure hope so. I'm just adding some to each container. Okay. All right, so each container has been fertilized. Now, I think what I'm going to do is maybe stir that in a little bit to what we've got already in here. I find gardening so relaxing. I mean, it is a lot of work. A lot of preparation goes into it, but especially weeding, I find to be so satisfying because it just kind of feels like, you get to be outside and spending time in nature and preparing your beds for the garden season. But also when you weed out things, it's like you're eliminating little bits of life's troubles. I mean, if only every problem was that simple to resolve. When I told Robbie what this was in that bucket, it was rabbit poop in that bucket, he was so disgusted. I could not believe it. For a little boy who likes, bodily function jokes and talking about poop all the time, he was so disgusted that this was rabbit poop in that bucket, which I thought was really funny. All right. So everything looks pretty well mixed. I'm just going to gently get this blueberry, get this kind of mixed in just a little bit too. When I added this in earlier, I did water it in pretty well. It's already starting to break down. And I hope I'm not too late on the game on these blueberries for fertilizing. I know you're supposed to fertilize in early spring, so I don't know. Better late than never. All right. I'm going to slice open this soil, and I'm just going to carry some fresh dirt over to that blueberry. We're going to start with that one, and I'm just going to use this little bucket to carry over some dirt. If you've been following along on our channel, you'll know that we love blueberries and strawberries, and that's one of the main reasons I wanted to purchase blueberry bushes, because you know how nice to be able to grow something that we love to keep in the house. And anyway, I'm curious to know, what blueberry varieties do you have, or what have you had the most success with? We are pretty new to keeping blueberries, and I would love to do much better than we did last year. I mean, our berry bushes are young. They're not well established yet, and I realize that, but if you have any tips, I would love to hear them. So last year, I don't know if I saw it online somewhere or what, but I read that if you paint rocks bright red and you put them into your strawberry beds, like before they start to bloom and ripen, that the birds will come and explore, and then they'll figure out that these aren't real berries, and then they'll leave your beds alone. So I don't know if that'll work, but there's a few in there from last year. Maybe I should probably repaint them. They look a little dusty, but anyway, doesn't hurt to try, I guess. Oh, there's so many little flowers, and oh, I love growing things, guys. It's so fun. So it's looking good. I'm happy with the progress. I'll cover up all the poop so Robbie won't be so disgusted. I'm so pleased with how this is going so far. Everything looks really good. The beds look great, and I cannot wait to get things actually planted. So I have 4 San Marzano tomatoes, 2 chocolate cherry tomatoes. Robbie is scootering in the background. And I also have 2 jalapenos. All of these vegetables I bought from my friend Kim. She lives on a farm, and she's doing really good things out there.
And we have rabbit poop.
That's also where we got rabbit poop from. Robbie wanted me to let you know. So anyway, thank you, Kim, for all of the things for the garden. I'm happy to support your farm, and I'm so happy that you are growing and providing enough to sell and provide for other people. It's really, really great. Good stuff. All right, so with every tomato, I'm planning to plant a basil. Those are a good companion plant. And with every tomato, I'm planning on adding Tums to the soil. It's supposed to be good for preventing blossom end rot. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. Anyway, it's supposed to be good for your tomatoes, help keep them healthy. And then I'm going to pot this lemon thyme in its own pot. It's a spreader, and I don't want it spreading all over the place, so I'm going to keep it contained. The jalapenos did really well in this garden bed last year. I'm going to keep this as strawberries. I'm just going to let them go and see what happens. And then the tomatoes, I'm going to put over here in these buckets. Again, that's also what I did last year, and I think that's good. I have to leave a little space back there. I leave it kind of for walking, but also the rain comes off the roof right there, and I don't want that rain to pummel my little garden. So I do leave space for the rain, and it also serves as a walking path. I'm going to give everything a good water. So I'm going to water the dirt really well first, and then we'll place the plants. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill each bucket with water until water starts running out from the bottom, and then I'm going to move on to the next one. But that's going to ensure that water is getting all the way through, all the soil is getting wet, and yeah, and we're going to check the drainage as well. So that bucket it looks like full of water, and that water will definitely, it's already coming out the bottom, it's draining out nicely. So that water is going to make its way all the way through. All that soil is going to get saturated. It's going to be ready for planting when we get to it. Here is an overview of the work we got done today. We got all of the weeds taken care of, fertilizer added, fresh soil. Everything looks nice and clean. I've got the plants placed where I intend to plant them. You'll have to stay tuned for part 2 to see how it ends up coming together. And then look at this, how nicely this blueberry pot looks. The soil is fresh. It's been fertilized. I hope she'll have a happy season. This blueberry bush over here. Fresh soil, fertilizer. She's been watered in really well.
Watch this, YouTube.
Oh, do it again.
Ready? Whoa.
Oh, it's so hard to get it on film.
All right, let me do it.
Okay.
That thing doesn't go much. Ready?
Wow. All right, one more. Well, that's going to be it for today. I'm going to get to planting probably, hopefully tomorrow. I'm very happy with the way that it's looking so far over there, and I'm glad to bring you along. So I hope you found this helpful. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to link below a channel that I found last year that helped guide me on my way to container gardening. And I'll also link another one. If you haven't watched Roots and Refuge, it's one of my favorite garden channels. Their channel is just really great. So lots of good content at Roots and Refuge. Thank you so much for adding a dash of gratitude to your day, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, now.